just look at him. Look at how much strength he has.
Olha ele aí, chat. Tá
He's
feio,
also
né?
very big.
Nossa senhora, tá
Taller
horroroso.
than most gods.
Caraca, essa
He's not
textura aí, mano.
obviously
Não, botou no
the,
mínimo pra mostrar?
literally
Não, aí tá trolando, né, Harry? Não, não.
that wouldn't work
Não,
for
volta.
gameplay.
Yeah, that would be
Botou
hard.
a textura, botou tudo no mínimo pra mostrar, cara, senão não rodava. Ou de costas ele tá bonito. Agora de frente, botou as texturas tudo no mínimo, cara. Cadê o anti-aliasing, cara?
He looks like he is wielding that
Caralho, mano, esse cabelo
So,
maciento.
that's horrifying and also really cool to look
Tá
at.
parecendo. É o tipo. É o
Alright, we
tipo.
talked about how cool
Viu o
it
meme?
is. Can't hold it any longer.
Esse, mano,
Check
essa
it out
textura
again.
dele tá muito feia, mano. Que bosta foi essa? Caralho, botou no mínimo.
That's so awesome. Alright.
Pô, é
show
da
off,
hora,
show
mano,
off
ele andando tá
everything.
da hora, velho. Ficou meio esquisito. Tinder, vida real. Ele bate com a bola?
Oh, that's so great.
Nice.
Oh, what happened to that
Que
Otis?
viagem, mano. Viagem essa. Porra, é essa? Tá de knock-up esse, cara.
And there's the Sky Laser.
Que isso?
So he did a lot of stuff there.
Oh yeah.
Esse
so
Sky
many
Laser
things
faz?
to go over.
Entendi nada, cara. Vocês
let's
entenderam,
start
né?
off,
Ele dá um
let's
dash.
start off with the
Nossa,
basics.
dá cabeçada.
So, how's
Ah, que viagem. Ele pega o cara e joga pra cima.
So Atlas's standard basic attack is actually a just
Mago
standard
tanque.
melee chain. You can see there he
Ah,
has
ele
an
bate com a
initial
bola
hit,
mesmo, mano.
another initial
O
hit,
NA.
and a cleave.
Em que
These
bate com
initial
uma
hits are
bola,
actually
cara.
slower. They're all 1.25 both swing time and damage. So he actually doesn't have a standard
Cara,
one
que da hora,
attack
mano.
ever at any point. You can see also his passive activating there, where his passive he can accumulate energy from damaging characters, and he gets an extra basic attack.
Bate
that
com a
when he has
bola?
enough energy, it'll actually do that
Que
big
isso?
slam down attack. That
Quando
trembles
pega os
enemy gods, so
personagens.
it's obviously built in there
Espécies,
as well.
as séries do Paladins.
But once we get to the rest of the kit, we can talk about the other form that has basic.
Ó, que legal, mano.
Ooh, will do. So let's,
Ah, por que,
how
que os
about
suportes são mais legais, né, mano? O ADC tem graça nenhuma.
right there?
O suporte faz mó pirotecnia ali, ó.
Has the kind of floating orbs
A
around it,
passiva.
the passive meters kind of swirling around.
Ah lá, a
That
passiva,
means
é o
the
Agni.
next basic attack by holding the Astrolabe is going to be that big slam down. This does bonus flat damage that scales off your level.
Ah,
as
então
well as
tipo,
trembles
3
enemy
ataque
gods
básico,
thrown in there.
estaca passiva, ele bate no chão.
It'll stun minions as well, so you get some extra
Dá
utility there.
stun.
Yeah, all
Cara,
kinds
que
of
roubada,
things
ele dá stun no
that
básico?
do. So his first ability,
Ok, da hora.
Unburden. Let's get into that.
Yep, so the first ability, Unburden, he actually throws the Astrolabe, and this is a unique part of the character.
dois,
Most of our
três.
weapons in Smite, when
Ataque
you
básico?
throw them, they just kind of like disappear and reappear. They don't really have any permanent.
Ele é ataque
This one
básico?
actually does have that permanent. When you throw out the Astrolabe, you can see that he loses it. He's not holding it anymore. It is
Yeah.
out, it is deployed. He has different animation sets for when he doesn't actually have this Astrolabe deployed. And his basic attack
dois,
also changes. Now he
três.
doesn't have the weapon to swing.
Yeah.
His basic attacks turn into that pulse that happens at that area.
Cara, não entender nada.
Enemy God,
É
you can
solo.
use it to help
É
clear
solo.
anyways.
Ah, o Bel, qualquer
It
tanque é
also
solo pra ele.
scales its damage, scales
Caramba,
off
que
the
da
level.
hora.
So again,
Não,
another
limpar
thing
o wave
that
ele limpa, né?
to make sure that he was a true support
Cara,
guardian.
Clear Wave tem de sobra,
he
né?
actually has a few
O próximo
level
ataque
scales
básico é
in his
stun.
kit To make sure that his kind of damage is more uniform and
Que da
controllable.
hora, mano. Esse Baudolin tá da hora.
Make it harder to just scale up and throw the Astrolabe and
Olha,
beat someone to
pipoca.
death across the map.
Yep. And I think the
Pipoca pra
fun thing
ver o
is that
Atlas.
when it actually is thrown and deployed, it does do initial damage in the area as well as slows targets. So this is a
Pipoca,
way to kind of initiate for that first
A
season.
pipoca aí, ó.
Initiate and get some damage as you walk up. Super awesome. So his
Nossa,
second
básico.
ability is called Gravity Pull. So what
Achar
does
que também
gravity
está
gotta say?
apanhando?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a huge mass. It's a
Deve ser pra fazer
basically the
mídia.
entire cosmos condensed down to this astrolabe. He can just control the gravity of it because that is how.
Se ele colar no cara, ele
astronomy
pega.
works. So
Aí ele
the
pega
first
e
version of
joga.
it, when he's holding the astrolabe, is actually going to be that
Caramba,
component
que legal.
that's divided into two parts. If enemies are in the far part of it, they'll just get pulled towards Atlas. But if they're in that close critical range, they actually will get pulled into the astrolabe itself, and Atlas is able to freely aim and throw them. He's able to
quanto
move
tempo esse
during that.
segura?
He's able to like control what direction they're going to go, and that gives him essentially access to this kind of grab and toss that's on a non-ultimate ability.
Caraca, que roubado.
Definitely something that's really, really potent for a support guardian. This does
Pega
change,
cara e joga no
however,
meio
if
dos
he has the
minions, mano.
astrolabe
Morreu.
deployed. So if he throws the astrolabe and then uses it, it'll follow the same rules. It has that outer area and inner area. Outer area they get pulled towards
Mano,
the
olha essa
astrolabe. But if
mecânica.
in an inner area, they get pulled to the center and then thrown towards wherever Atlas is at that moment.
Que louco.
So,
So much.
Como é que faz isso?
yep, two ways to control. One more direct up front, one more thrown range. You can get more people with it generally.
Como é que
So
faz
some
isso?
extra
Entendi.
utility there. If you're up in the front line, you need to go peel for your back line. You can toss it back there and use the pull to try and get people off.
Nossa,
A
tome.
lot of different options here with how you want to use the
Caraca, parece
astrolabe. And that's
pesadão,
the primary
mano.
goal of this kit is to that mastery of knowing when to use it, when to pull it back.
É
when
a
to
2
recall
dele,
it.
né? E qual que é um dele? Um dele é aquela que pega os caras. Você lança um e puxa dois com o inimigo.
I can't imagine just the roam game on this, you know, when you
Mano,
separate
roubado.
off from your lane and go to start handling,
Se tiver 5 caras ali, puxa os 5.
lanes and trying to get those ganks off, there's just going to be so much that you can get done with that. I'm
Deixa eu ver se tiver com o globo.
As much as I am horrified to be the victim of it.
Get tossed into towers if you get a little bit too close.
Exactly.
Gotta be careful.
I go to dive and he's like, I'm just going to
Caraca, mano, eu tô vendo que eu também. Tô vendo que eu vou morrer muito com esse cara.
Kinetic charge.
Yep, so kinetic charge, if you use it just normally,
esse é a 3.
pretty standard charge. You
dá dano em área quando bate o cara.
AoE on when you land, does some damage. And you can see that it actually doesn't do any other
dois pra esses caras igual merda. Tipo isso que eu dou merda.
But it does interact with your allies. So if you were to set that circle around you, if you have allies get passed through there when you're charging, you actually take burdens from them. You'll cleanse them of any movement speed slows they have at that moment and give them a movement speed burst. And you'll take those burdens with you, and then if you run into a god at that point, you'll actually dump the burdens onto them. So this can scale up to a 75% slow if you cleanse 3 or more allies. Very potent, really great initiate, especially to get your team to follow you into the fight. But you can also use defensively to make sure that someone's slowed. You can kind of cleanse that slow off and then help them get away.
Yeah,
esse dash dá 75% de slow.
Slow your hunter, you just run past, take that slow away, drop it on their hunter, then turn it down.
And this is another thing that we're talking about with making him that kind of true support guardian. If you use this maybe like a soul lane or a jungle where it's just coming out from the jungle, you actually don't have access to you to gain access to that form of CC.
Meu, só descer.
I'm just imagining.
Entra dentro de um foguete, bate a cabeça, pronto, é isso. Mecânica dele. Nossa, que mecânica foda, hein?
All of those stacks, hit the first person, it's a slow.
Olha o outro ali, mano. Cheio de interação.
Absolutely wonderful.
Cheio de negócio.
Finally, and I mean we got to see it once, but I feel like there's so much to talk about with the
Danziatas na bot lane.
Yep, so he kind of controls this guy and the cosmos. It's kind of his domain. He's learned to control it over the last time. He can call down a gamma ray burst from the sky. You can see there that when you first cast it down, you have that kind of like more translucent beam coming from that sky origin point. This beam itself is more of a radiating beam. It actually doesn't do that much damage, but it does provide a huge protection shred and a power debuff. So you don't want to really be standing in this. If he drops it on you in the middle of a fight, you're going to be taking a lot more damage from his carry, and a lot more damage from like, the jungler, the mate that might try and jump on you. As well as you're going to be doing less damage.
Por que esse suporte precisa
but then at any point during it, after 5 seconds, you can fire it. And at that point, the gamma ray burst focuses and travels across the map. Not fully global, it's about, I want to say it's like 800 or 900 units. You can definitely go from mid lane to dual lane, mid lane to solo lane, but going from like dual lane to solo lane is a little bit of a stretch. But definitely a really long range. But at that moment of focus, it does some more damage.
A ult dele faz, aliás, eu tô na base.
Stacks worth of that protection não faz. Wow. So if you want to just quick fire it to get some immediate protection, if you want to try and get as many stacks as you can and then send it
fanfic, você tá muito louco.
So you can see there actually these like the burn marks on the ground and it's just a terrifying thing when you hear it coming towards you in the jungle. It's just one of those things that lets him have an extra bit of kind of like global threat utility that he can provide.
And I mean, I can't imagine, like, you know, so much zone control and objective control because, you know, teams grouped up on the fire giant. You go that down and all of a sudden
pegou os dois. Ele pega mais de
a lot less damage. So there's a lot of great potential for just team play and, you know, objective control.
And he has some good soft kind of soft synergies there as well. His passive stacks with every individual hit, so dropping this on a team quickly builds up your passive. You can use your 2, either the deployed version or the held version of the AO2. You can use that to keep people inside of it. You can chuck people into the path of the beam. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do, a lot of different ways to kind of combine these skills for maximum effect. Choose what you want to try and prioritize in the fight. If you want to be an aggressive dual laner, you can kind of charge forward and try and control the enemy team. If you want to play more defensive, you can keep your abilities and use them when you need to peel for someone. A lot of different flexible options here, but we did really try and give him the tools to be a successful, true support guardian.
Agora a skill dele vem no mapa inteiro.
I'm excited to see it. Guardians are probably one of my most frequently played characters, and I love having a kit with so much diversity, so many different ways you can utilize the abilities to either be offensive or defensive. So excited to be able to try this out.
Bate nos 3 aí, vai.
I want to give a big shout out to the programming team, the tech art team, the animation team. This character, because he can either be holding or not holding the astrolabe, that immediately almost doubles a lot of the animations required for the character and a lot of the interactions. What happens when he has that out and another animation plays and he recalls it, how should those animations interact? The team did a huge amount of work to make sure that the Astrolabe felt really heavy and really something that.
Qual foi a última DC que lançou mesmo? Também 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. Mais 10% de sua proteção. São 5% de power reduction, 2% de focus damage. Ah, que bagunça essa.
Essentially had two entirely different sets of animations for do I have the Astrolabe, do I not have the Astrolabe? So it's just, I mean, like with every gun that comes out, there's new challenges, there's new
a ult dele não manda pra base não, cara. Justo ele tirou isso, pô.
things we can discover that we can do in the game, and I think Atlas displays a lot of those really well. So super exciting.
Tira poder e defesa.
God of the season.
Yeah, God of the season. It's every time somebody
5% de defesa que reduz. Ah, é tipo a 2 do Kyron. Caralho, a 2 do Kyron melhorando.
Right? Well, so that's Atlas. He is gonna come out with